Hey guys, I'm Robert here, and welcome to another Let's Pro Teacher Stoop. Today I'm returning once again, Pika,
Hey everybody.
and we are going to be wrapping up the Batman Vampire Elseworlds trilogy. Pika, give people a summary of what happened in the last book.
In the last book, it had been some time after Batman lost his blood to Dracula and was fully converted into not exactly but actually a vampiric being, but close enough. He had the powers and he had the bloodlust, but he had not been fully damned and corrupted. So and all the thing he had left were the remaining vampires still left in Gotham, who were then taken, who then, to his
We're led
surprise,
by.
were led by and taken over by the Joker to lead. The Joker decided to switch the hammer tactics to a scalpel, and with that, and with that, the vampires became more organized and more selective in their victims, which made Batman's work more difficult, and that was an extra weight on his
Tortured
downfall and
soul, his tortured soul.
tortured soul. And okay, no, this is not as easy as last time.
I know.
But eventually he found some temporary comfort in Catwoman, who had been turned into a werecat by one of the vampires under the Joker's command.
Mm-hmm.
It was a happiness that was ultimately taken from him by the Joker, and with the Joker taking that control away from him, that is what sealed the deal and fully turned Batman into the vampire that we see in this story.
Yep, and at the very end, Gordon and Alfred staked him, and as far as we were saw it, that was the end for Batman. But
Pretty much.
Yep. Now the first book, there was the gap of only 2 years. This one was a gap of 5 years, which makes you wonder: was this a story they just wanted to tell, or you wonder what was the behind the scenes that led up to this if there was that big of a gap? But
Yeah, that is a good question. Not to mention, even in the previous story, they show that Batman was still cutting the heads off the vampires he staked,
yep,
and and so far it could be. We can only imagine, but maybe Doug Moik left it so as a possible return part for
possible.
Batman to just lay there in a half death
Yep.
or a half life.
Which would also make it clear that no other vampire knew about this. Probably not even Dracula himself knew that the stake would, leave you in that state.
Mm.
But and speaking of which, Dracula, yes, he was staked and he died that way, but he was also struck by lightning.
Mm.
One could say the lightning could have sealed the deal.
Yes, and if it was so far like deep into the night that it was almost turning into dawn, you could probably think that the rising sun finished the job.
Yep. Now, the other thing I should point out is there are no more vampires left except for Batman. Batman is the last vampire. At least in Gotham. Who knows in the rest of the world, but definitely in Gotham. All of them are dead, but what about his the enemies? Well, that's what this story tells us. I can think, but I cannot move. Thinking of nothing but the blood I cannot take, the life I cannot have. This is death for an undead vampire, the final reward of the damned. And it is not, and it is not death at all. It is a trap between the world of the living and the realm of true death, spammed by the lengths of splintered oak. Transliving my heart to the limbo between. The bloodlust is all-consuming, yet I will never consume again. I am a predator, unable to prey. Horror is the awareness that the awareness of horror will never end. Death for vampires, the consciousness of false death, the urge but an inability to rip the throats of the living and suck the warm, ragged shreds. It is a black claustrophobia in a smothering void from which there is no escape, no release. For mortals, death is the last dark dream and the final passage. For me, the journey is stillborn, all movement stopped and suspended, in blackness, in the false death which is never final, in horror and in hell. As we get a flashback to this, as Alfred's been having nightmares ever since the staking of Master Bruce.
No wonder anyone would have PTSD from,
Yeah,
even if it was mercy killing.
Yep. And then we see Harvey Dent. You know, he had basically been scarred and becomes Two-Face, but he's already broken. He's fractured. And clearly this is partially probably without Bruce's finances to help him with his psychological issues.
So basically he's been... Okay, yeah.
Yep. And he's, oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's actually something I've had a somewhat... I was thinking about the thing with Two-Face's scarred side of his head, like... Should it have a hair growth there? Like the Silver and Bronze Ages, and there are the versions that have gray hairs coming out. But then ever since the like this version and the Long Halloween, and then the Dark Knight version, like it's mostly just burn.
Yep. Well, yeah, and even the animated series, remember that was an explosion, so I could see why that could have made his hair white. But but he walks off.
But is it a skin that can still grow new hairs?
Right. Which, to be fair, I think in the case of the anime series, that would be the last of his hairs. But yeah, anyway, he walks out. Now, of course, they just let him go because, well, he's not killing anyone. So as far as they think, he's just taking it badly.
Like, wouldn't they need to have him be in some kind of observation or...
Yeah, but remember though, if a person wants to leave, they're not going to force him.
Okay.
Oh, and yeah, Doug Moak, he drew Selena very well, but a lot of the women in this book are not that great looking.
Oh yeah, this almost looks like a... I wouldn't call this a rush job, but...
I wouldn't say a rush job.
And then looking at the angles and the background.
I mean, look at her boobs. One's going up, one's going down.
Ah, yeah, that's... Yeah.
But yeah, hey man, wanna party? Also, in memory of Thomas Wayne, killed on the spot. What? Like a long one, if you want. Since now, I think this is also meant to be a nod to the first book.
Oh, yeah, that first Dracula victim we saw.
Yep, but here, though, gets yanked down, it's Killer Croc, and he just eats right in there. Didn't even digest her last meal. Burger and cheap booze. So much for the lowlife. Walked your last street, baby. Now float forever. And then, the Scarecrow. Ding dong, the crane is dead. The time to crane. The timid crane is dead. As he goes in and goes after one of the people who had harassed him.
Ah, yeah. Scarecrow has that backstory in that he was essentially a bullying victim and he's going after his old bullies.
Yep, and what does he do? But again, they're basically making it very clear, given what's going to happen to all of them, these are all ruthless versions of the villain. Nuts, even the ones that don't always do killing. Here, they all kill, and it's gruesomely.
Yeah, basically, like who's gonna stop them, and what deterrents are there to scare them off from doing anything when there's no Batman?
Now, I could say this. I could see why Batman here, as opposed to losing the bloodlust, why he's stewing in it, it's because it's just his mind. His body isn't adjusting. It's just his brain. So his brain is just succumbing to all, and the rest of his body is rotting away.
This kind of reminds me of that one SCP that was one of those that if you know it kind of like something that where you essentially stay aware of your state after dying. There was that one SCP where you can end up in that state. This is almost like that same thing.
Yep. But I mean, look at this. Look at all the maggots over him. Look how much he's just decomposed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure his brain's probably rotted away a bit.
Yeah, that would explain how his mind is going on.
And he had just been damned. So I think that's the other reason. His mind is just hyper-focused on that. But yeah. Now we see Alfred and Gordon meet up, and basically, also I should point out, ever since Dracula, it still rains and the Red Rain.
Yeah. So could that be some kind of psychological effect on Gothamites that they are given vampiric psychological drugging?
Yep. But yeah, so they explain about what had happened with Batman and everything, but then also the other villains coming about. Oswald Cobblepot, Pamela Isley, and now Harvey is Two-Face, plus Scarecrow and Killer Croc. But they are just so horrible. Also, Nigma is becoming just as bad, if not worse.
As in, was before becoming Riddler.
You'll see him later.
Yeah. But before becoming Riddler, was he like in Gotham that he was some background acquaintance to GCPD?
Basically, he was more of a robber. He was more of a robber, a thief in this version.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, so now of course, sometimes I actually wonder if we did the right thing. Pennyworth driving the stakes through his heart. At least the devil we knew was once a dark angel. But yeah, he leaves, and unfortunately, this gets Alfred more the justification. His sole victim, after all, was the Joker. Now, I think there's one detail Alfred is forgetting. The blood of the victim does affect the mind. Remember what happened with Dracula?
Yeah.
Because
he went after the Gothamites, and that ended up corrupting him.
And
so
who's
the
more
Joker
corruptible than the Joker?
This is like a very early, obscure precursor to the Batman Who Laughs, for it, pretty much.
Yep, but yeah, as soon as he removes it, you fool! You didn't take my head! Don't you realize what you've done? You've loosed my blackened heart to pump the foul blood sucked from the Joker's black heart! But sir, you're still the same man inside, and your heart has always been good and noble, and my heart now pulses to the beat of evil, you fool! And I'll never let you and Gordon pierce it again! I couldn't live with your blood on my hand, the reality of having killed you, and I was already dead! But sir, I simply couldn't bear to see you, nor could I bear it, but it's what I deserve. Please, sir, the city needs you. Gotham does not need another monster. The situation, sir, has gone so bad in your absence that I fear you are wrong. What? Indeed, sir, it has become so bad that you should, and that should you need it right now, I will gladly surrender my own blood if it gives you the strength to set things right. You dare to tempt me? Ugh! Mist, dissolving in the mist. In the name of God, what have I done? Now again, I get why Alfred thought it's the Godzilla threshold.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
And Batman at least still has some self-awareness that he should not have been brought back.
Yep. Just a sec. I got my smoke alarm beeping.
Okay. Oh yeah, I can hear it all the way from here.
Sorry about that. But yeah, so of course he finds out, you did what? My God, Pennyworth, what? How could? What? Yes, I know, but yes, of course, I understand. But calm down, Alfred. It's done now. The stake is out, and he didn't kill you. So maybe we were right not to cut off his head. Maybe there's still enough humanity in him to do what must be done. And then look at Penguin. Look how. This is an interesting take on Penguin.
Yeah, even that previous panel showing that first showing that was weird. That was like a rush job drawing of it, but at least
actually no, that's how he's going to be looking.
Yeah, but the angle how it's drawn.
Better.
Yeah, this looks better than the first.
Well, look at this. Freeze, Copper, and die. Now, boys, spring the trap and kill the rest of them. Bam, bam, bam. Ah, what the? Ah, Penguin. Some kind of giant bat. But the bat's changing into a man. You don't scare me. It takes more than cheap tricks to. If I'm a trick penguin, you're the treat. Hey, let me out. Call for backup. Ah! Now we're trapped. Shoot him. You shoot him. I ain't gonna make that thing. First, cop killers. I want information. Now look how he actually has the monocle. Then your blood. And finally your heads. Now talk fast or die slow. Where's the rest of your penguin gang? And sure enough, that ambush went down all right. Yeah, Penguin really hated them cops. I don't like it. Him and the other boys should have been back by now. Relax. Waddling takes time. Yeah, but... Huh? The boys. But the head of your gang is dead. So are you. First your blood, then your heads. So in other words, he's making sure none of them are... He is in control enough to take their heads. But the fact he's this ruthless.
Yeah, and...
Then again, with the vampires, it made sense.
Yes, in that sense, indeed. This is mainly just the very pragmatic, easy way of dealing with it. That would probably
he's just letting it all so he can finally have the blood. But he's in enough control he doesn't want it to spread.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, as soon as they turn on the bat signal, he shows up. And of course... Yes, like the master's cape or wing. You think you can still summon me, Gordon? As if it were old times, as if I were still alive, and you was a too difficult clue in hand. We had to. The riddle. You had to leave me where I was in the blackness, but you did it. Sir, are you all right? No closer. I can hear your pulse from here. Talk, Gordon, and to the point. When genius becomes dope and dope plus, how does she redeem herself? We just want to know the situation. But if even we're at risk, I assume it's bad. Assume the worst, Gordon. Your city is plagued by the Riddler and Ivy and all the others, but I am a plague too. You want help. I want blood. But surely, sir, you can control. I will destroy them all. Feed on them one by one until they're all drained dry. And the best you can hope is that I prevent them from returning as monsters at my side by beheading them, by becoming everything you ever despised, a murderer and worse. He's already gone, Commissioner, and rising into the night, dissolving into that reddish mist, through which our plea now seems cast in blood. Now there's Riddler!
That's it. Okay, that's like taking what Tom King made and pulling it up. At least
or the Earth 1 version.
Earth. Oh yeah, Earth 1 version also had it.
But yeah, he does the riddle. Answer: by turning heroine. When does genius become dope plus E? Heroine?
Yeah, because genius, she, dope. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically it's hidden inside her body. But then, of course, the Batman. But you've changed. As you have, Riddler, in my absence. Your Riddlers are no different. But you've graduated from robbery and extortion to drugs and murder. And as a result, Cassandra Knight will never graduate. Blam, blam, blam. No effect. What are you? The answer to life's every riddle. Death and hungry darkness. Ah! And then, who the? Guess you haven't been reliving in former glories through the old yearbook and school yearbook, big man. If you had, you might recognize the ghost of a certain geeky classmate, the transformed spirit of a fragile identity killed by fear, a dead crane resurrected as the sinister scarecrow. No, please, tell me, big man, how does it feel? Scared? You're monster. And you, Craig, you still have a choice. Yet you choose to kill. And unlike me, you prey on the innocent. They're not innocent. They tormented me, terrified me. You think you know fear, Craig? My hand, the fear gas. You think you know true terror? Shrink! You know nothing.
Oh, that's the panel I used.
Yeah. And everyone here, then let's get to the point. The Batman was bad enough when he was alive, and we ought to know. Back in our former occupation as district attorney, before we split from Harvey Dent, we had the Batman's help against thugs like you. Dent, I thought I recognized you, or at least half of. Shut up! We're changed now. So is the Batman. He's dead, and he's slaughtering criminals one by one. It started with the Joker, and now he's eliminated the Penguin, Riddler, and Scarecrow. Drained every drop of blood from their bodies, and then chopped off their heads for overkill. He has to be stopped. Easier said than done. Yeah. How do we stop a thing like that? A thing death can't stop. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Like what? Like letting the coin decide the verdict. Yes, scar side up. We extend this alliance to our opposites. What's that supposed to mean? If I catch your drift, Two-Face, shouldn't that coin be on the good side up? You'll see, freak, and you'll feed too. Now there's Poison Ivy doing her usual old school stuff of, seducing men and everything. But then, now see what I mean? She looks,
yeah, this is like a...
now she doesn't look bad here.
Yeah, that looks somewhat better there. But the other... I would call it... Is it the inking? Like you said previously,
it's a very different inker. It's a different inker.
Yeah, the inking.
Actually, no. It's the same inker from the last book. It's the coloring, I think.
Oh, okay, that's good. Okay.
And again, it's been 5 years, so who knows? But anyway, and now, Ivy, at last, I will kiss you. No, my plans, withering, dying all around you. Stay back. What's the matter, Ivy? You've always wanted me. No, not like this. But this, Ivy, is the only way I could want you. In the darkness and decay of corruption. Ah! Now look, he's actually seducing her for a moment before biting her.
Oh, yeah. She's surrendering to her fate before.
Yep.
That actually makes you also, like we said, the blood can corrupt the vampires that they think. So the Joker pretty much was the first vampire, but that was he's drank blood from Penguin, Riddler.
Everyone is making him worse and worse. Yep. Yeah, and of course, Alfred and Gordon continue to believe. Basically, this is the most simplistic plot of the books. Because they're constantly wondering, like, what do we do? How do we stop him? And everything. But then they seem to be getting a message from the roof. But it turns out it was Two-Face and Croc wanting to make a deal. Work together and stop Batman. The Batman must be executed, and we both know that. Our two goals are one. Get off the roof, Dent. You and your pet reptile. We could execute you, Commissioner, right now, but we won't. We'll give you time to consider our proposal, but don't take long. And come on, Two-Face. Let them sink or swim without us. So yeah, they're trying to wonder what do they do as they see Batman fly over, and they start to wonder maybe Tarvey has a point. Now Batman's now going after Black Mass gang, and again, it's a slaughter.
Yeah.
And then, please.
This actually, the way how he's been taking blood, and shouldn't in some vampire stories where the vampire has been out of commission and then starts getting blood again, shouldn't that his body be somewhat?
I think that tells you how decayed he was. It's so much that his body can't regenerate. Like he's more skeleton than he is anything else.
Just.
But yeah, Gordon and Alfred can't stop me on their own. Not this time. So basically, this whole thing with Black Mask is just to give another one so why he soliloquies to himself. Only to get, basically, even he admits they need to take him down, so they might need to work it with it.
Yeah.
But even allied against me, they don't really have a prayer. So why did I let them leave the roof? Why did I let them live? And why am I killing so savagely here and now? Am I using all my honor to make Gordon change his mind, hoping he could stop me with Dent's help? Or am I setting up some mass purge? Do I relish a final feast to surpass the floods before? Do I seek a return to the eternal blackness of false helpless deaths, or the immortality of limitless possibilities? How much in control do I still command? How mad have I become? So in other words, he doesn't even know what he's doing anymore.
Basically, it would be seen that his body is acting on his own while his mind is just processing.
And it's kind of like the Hulk, how Banner could, even when at the Hulk was most savage, there's a reason why the Hulk is never killed, because Bruce has been influencing him. The only time Hulk is killed was when Bruce is either completely shut down or has been removed from the Hulk. But yeah, so they're finding out that he's still in the Batcave. Now look at this. Blackgate, he doesn't go up to Blackgate, any of the Blackgate prisoners, but he leaves them a message. All of Blackgate's crew.
Yeah, Blackgate is basically still the sane criminals who are.
But Arkham, the wild cards, what does he do? He goes after all of them. First your blood, amygdala, then your head. Sounds like amygdala. Then what the? Mad Hatter too? Oh, will they never shut up? Will they never cease? As he's jumping to all of them. Cornelius Sturge, everyone. Oh, boy, this poor orderly.
Yeah.
And then, Zaz. Yep.
It goes to make a local. Zaz, it was in Paul Dini's The Streets of Gotham where he essentially saw everyone.
He got an upgrade.
Yeah, he saw everyone as a corpse on how to kill them, and except for Damien, who he probably saw that Damien would be the one who kills him. So, yeah, he could probably still see Batman as a corpse. Just
one last slash for you. He makes it there, warns them all, like they're all dead. She even tells them, and then. And
whose head is that?
That's Zaz's.
Zaz.
He's a blonde. Remember, he's a blonde.
I know he's a blonde, but I didn't think he had that long hair.
Yeah, well, he did here. But yeah,
okay, it was shadows and shades.
Done. Indeed. And the final page. Written.
Jeremiah was. Yeah, Jeremiah seems. Yeah,
he gets off easy. He gets off easy here.
Yeah, apathetically just got his job done by doing nothing.
Now, because of what he did to Black Mask and to Arkham, that's the last straw. They need to take this alliance. So they're going to go there to the Batcave and set things up. Now, they realize the Batcave is too vast. They can't fill it with holy water. He'll just fly above it. And it's too huge to put up crucifixes everywhere. So they need to do more practical, and that's the crossbows. But yeah, so they're all getting prepared, although they're also considering that Harvey, they're not dumb. They know Harvey's going to betray them. And there's
Ariane.
But her appearance here is the most superfluous. It's like they just put her in here because they realized they had her in the other two books.
Basically like a checkbox character at
you
this
again.
point.
But you've become as evil, and have you become as evil as you look? More evil and getting worse by the night. Then my life is in danger if it tempts me long enough. But I have fed well of late, Ariane, and from you I crave information more than blood. Can a vampire ever truly die and be laid to true rest? I don't know. You don't bring out the stake? The stake immobilizes nothing more. It grants a false death and full awareness. You know this for a fact? I have been there, Ariane, transfixed in hell. What about complete disintegration? What if a vampire were reduced to dust? I don't know. I'm an expert in the occult. If you're asking whether atomic atoms possess consciousness, you do better to consult a scientist. Maybe a master of Zen philosophy or yeah, you're useless, all of you. Nothing but doomed bags of blood. To be fair, there really isn't much for him to ask her at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, this was maybe page count to reach.
But and also just to give her a final appearance. But yeah,
kind of
as a demon or
strange
dark
how he
god.
doesn't.
Yep. I soar and swoop to the cave, once a man's sanctuary, now the antechamber to a monstrous hell. Cursed by Dracula's kiss at the Joker's blood, I am beyond redemption, and soon to pass beyond caring. Thereafter I will become scornful of redemption and ultimately opposed to its very meaning. I am a beast of the pit, and even the darkness of this foul stone womb pales against my shadow. I remember too dimly the sacrifice of the Catwoman Selena and the demi-vampire Tanya. Now, he's looking at Tanya as being half vampire. I'm pretty sure that's because that's his twisted mind trying to make an explanation and justification to why she could succeed where he didn't. He's trying to, in his mind, be like, she clearly wasn't a pure full vampire because of why is it I couldn't do this? But I can't take no strength from their
Yeah,
examples.
it's true. But then again,
sorry. Oh, and such selfless.
Just realized something.
Yeah.
Selena's death could have probably been futile in this case because.
Because
she saved Batman from being staked.
But again, no one knew.
And if the stake was just pulled out.
Yeah, but of course she wouldn't have known. No one knew. Again, not Tanya, not even Dracula. It's the whole idea of a vampire has never been unstaked while their head was, like once they're staked, they were just left there with the stake in it. Basically, it's the whole idea of you don't know it until you've experienced it. Unfortunately, no one's come back to tell the tale. Like, just the idea of no one knows what death is like.
Yes.
But in this case, where a vampire has been staked.
Whatever that number is.
But I love this. Like, after them, there's nothing but Blackgate. Many of those inmates are in prison for nothing but theft or less. They do not deserve my crimson mist. And after them, Gotham will be cleansed, its streets and shadows holding too little to sustain me. With nothing but a random criminal here and there, I would be forced to prey on the innocent, just as Riddler and Scarecrow did. And how long before I can no longer bear the loneliness? How long before I stop taking their heads? How long before I start taking brides? And before I spawn a family ever larger than the cult of Dracula? Not long. The evil I've taken into my veins has already seeped into whatever remains of my soul, corrupting and deteriorating its last remnants of decency. I have lost all life, and so I steal it. I am death, and so I bring it. I am damned, and the world may be doomed, and its sheep without shepherds, ready for slaughtering. And the worst horror of all, the last shepherd was me. Meanwhile, the next morning, they're all getting ready with explosives, hoping to bring Batman down there and then open the top of it. But sure enough, Batman shows up ready to face them. They shoot at him. He goes for Croc. Croc's hide is too thick.
Yeah, that basically Croc is probably the strongest of them all, so take care of him first.
Exactly. And even if he wasn't the strongest, he's too tough. I'm death, stronger than any light. And Gordon shoots him right in the back. You hurt me. No, as he falls into the abyss. But sure enough, and Harvey betrays him. But
that's probably what he meant by.
Oh yeah.
When Croc asked about the alliance.
Yep.
Yeah, if it had landed on the good side, they would have still done the alliance, but left them alive.
Freak. Yep, told you you'd see, freak. Now get the other one, the old man, while we finish Gordon. Crush him and eat him, preferably both. And yep, he's trying to get away from there. While they're fighting off with him, but what does he do then? Makes his way down, and they keep on fighting him all off. You hear me, Gordon? You missed us. The reluctant prosecutor and his evil twin are still coming, and we're after final judgment. Cop the death penalty. So yep, and now Alfred helps Batman up. And only grazed my heart. Run while you can, Alfred. But sir, I can't just leave you. You fool. What will it take for you to abandon me? You've never forsaken me, sir, or Gotham. Two-Face and Killer Croc are still at large. Hunting Commissioner Gordon, even now, you're still needed. You must save the Commissioner. Too weak. Could take me days to regain my strength. Then use my strength. What are you saying, Alfred? Alfred? Oh, sorry, I got that in the wrong order.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops. So there we go. But anyway, my blood, sir, is yours. It is the only way, and I ask that you prevent me from coming back. After this, Alfred, after you, and after them, there will be no more. And you're making me angry, Gazer, and an angry Killer Croc ain't nothing to. What? Kadoom. Above. Wait.
Oh.
Alfred raised me from the depths of hell. His life and death giving me one last chance, not for redemption, but for duty, and perhaps even peace. Tough hide, reptile, but not tough enough. And thanks to a good man's sacrifice, you can keep your cold blood. Judgment time, Gordon, and you're facing double jeopardy. We're a long way from your old courtroom dens, so spare me the summation. Just do your worst and go to hell. Then sure enough, two faces. You or one face, both dead and alive. But how? The only way possible. Blood sacrifice. And now it's your turn. And two crossbones. One for each face. You failed, Gordon.
Okay, that was pretty much if he sees them coming, of course he has the strength and speed to catch both of them.
Yep, you're right to slam the bolt in my back. I've become worse than Two-Face, perhaps worse than Dracula himself. When I had my life, I used to stop murderers and prevent deaths. Now I am death and murder, living only through the blood of others. I cannot be permitted to exist, to prey and kill again and again. But you did save me in my life just now, even though I betrayed you, tried to kill you. You betrayed a monster, Gordon, not the man you knew. You tried to kill a creature who saved your life only because it is sweet as Alfred's coursing with the blood of goodness. Anywhere says, gone, dead. There's only you now, the greatest prize of all. What are you? I did save your life, Gordon. I saved it for last. But you can't. But I can. I must and I will. Wake up, Gordon, you damn mortal fool. Kill me or join me.
Hey, now
become me.
There where he now he looks almost normal on that panel.
Yep.
Almost.
Almost. Maybe it's also the blood of the damned that made him worse.
Yeah, and now when he got Alfred's blood, Alfred's blood could have somewhat pushed him back to the other direction.
Now that I think about it, didn't Dracula look worse and worse as he consumed more of the corrupted?
Maybe.
I think he did. But anyway,
become
me. And if you do,
I
want to finish this speech. No one will ever stop us. Time will be ours, and we will take them all. Billions, Gordon. One crimson feast after another. Oceans of blood until the whole world is drained dry. And only when the sheeps are wolves. Only when everyone is like us. Bloodstained and depraved. Only then will it finally stop. Only then will we starve ourselves to nothingness. Earth's ultimate predator, rendered extinct only by our complete and total success. Kill me now, Gordon, or help me exterminate the human race. You hear me? I won't be able to resist much longer, Gordon. I feel your life's pulse under my dead fingers. It's racing now, exciting me, and the thought of it spurting so hot, washing so fast down my throat. All right, where's the detonator? My belt. Do it! And run as if all hell were at your heels. Now, Gordon, now! But unfortunately, he did it too well, as it collapses even on him. Too much explosive force, and Gordon is dead. Gordon, he will have mercy. He will. May God have mercy, old friend, on both our souls. He will have mercy, old friend, at least on your soul and on Alfred's. Oh, and even the city itself will receive a certain measure of mercy. Bursting by day, Gotham tonight's fall rarely and rarely quiet. Most of its demons now purge. Only one major monster remains. Me, forever damned by the act of eliminating the others. The command was long ago given. Thou shalt not kill. Once I agreed and obeyed with all my heart and soul. Now my heart is blackened with sin, my soul devoured by evil. And so I walk where Tanya walked before me, into the searing light which banishes all darkness, surrendering my face and form to atoms of dust, seeking the true darkness of peace, the cool shadow of eternity, and the unknown fate of nothingness. So,
at least at the end, it was a choice he was given. Like Gordon died before him, and if it was
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, at least when Gordon died before him, and he could have just, and that point, he probably could have had the choice of remaining in the cave, wait for the night, and then start over. But he had enough, maybe from Alfred's blood, to push him back to the other direction to see that enough was enough, and chose to walk to the light and end himself.
And he was giving Gordon the choice. I think he was saying all that stuff about giving him the option more because it's like, this is how far I've gotten. Now, of course, because it's the last one, I'd rather put in here, there is one other tale to tell. Now, this would be the end for Batman, of this version of the Vampire Batman. But once they brought back the multiverse, they decided to loosely broad stroke it. First,
or not maybe even loosely broad stroke it. They just decided to shake it up and make it.
Yep, come up with a world where Vampire Batman is existing, but differently. For example,
like
we see the version of the Mad Hatter here, entertaining people, but then when he goes out and goes out, this is the young Dick Grayson as his family are going into the alley, and well, now Hatter's just telling a tale here, I should say. It turns out the Graysons were killed by Vampire Batman.
Huh.
Yeah. Now again, do not try to injustice to what happened in the main Elseworld. Do not.
Yeah, no, there's nothing, because this is basically a Flanderized version, because that it's just if Batman's a vampire and
and just as monstrous.
I
would say though, the artwork is still just as good by Kelly Jones. But that's what lead into the search for Ray Palmer, Red Rain.
Yeah.
Yep, as they show up there, of course, like vampires are real, all that. They're there. Now I should point out this is Patrick Kelly doing the artwork, I believe was the name. Yeah, no, Patrick Johnson.
Who's right?
Patrick Johnson is doing the writing, not Doug Mowick.
Okay, no wonder it's Flanderized pretend by someone else.
Now you have this bit with a now older Dick Grayson with Barbara Gordon, but it turns out she had become a vampire.
Oh.
So and Dick's a vampire hunter.
Hey, in that sense, because if it's Barbara and if it's that, this could be seen as a what if Batman didn't walk back to the
that could be
outside, and he stayed in the cave, waited for night, and then started to become everything he told Gordon to be.
True, but we saw Mad Hatter earlier, and we know he's dead.
No voi paska teki. Okay, that doesn't work. But
again, this is why I say it's a broad stroke.
Yeah.
So you leave me no choice. Now, of course, when Donna and the others show up, they just see a dead Barbara.
Yeah, they don't see that
that she's a vampire, but she's still barely alive. And turns out, find him before it's too late. Who, Barbara Palmer? Was it Ray Palmer? No, it wasn't. Ray's already gone by this point.
Uh-huh.
And now it turns out she was the one who got the marking, the Palmer print.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But there's the fangs at everything. So that's what they realized he was. There was a vampire, and even says like paper says the homeless quarters and hotbed for recent throat slashers. So in other words, Batman is doing no different.
Yeah. They had a chance, and they just.
Yeah, like you said, this is a Flanderization. But yeah, they head down there, and there's the vampire that kind of nicked him.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of course, they showed it as a female vampire in the Gotham by Gaslight story.
What?
I don't think there was the notes were passed between artists.
Oh, damn, editors are lazy.
Yep. But they're still looking through, trying to figure out what happened, and I'm not a fan of Eric Battle's artwork. But yeah, it's basically Dick has been hunting down Batman all of his life since that night. But then, and Batman is following them. And what did you tell them? What did they want? They seek the one who hunts us, the one who hunts you. I heard from them visitors from another land, strangers to our cause. They're here to find him, my master. I'm not your master. So in other words, this is a guy who he bit, but didn't take his head.
And Batman's characterization is also.
They're going for the monster more than anything else.
No method to madness anymore either.
Mm-hmm. And now he followed him there. He was ready to stake him, but the others stop him stupidly. And then, sure enough, Batman gets Dick. Flies off with him, and they realize they done screwed up, so they decide to head back. And now we got Batman and Vampire Batman, Vampire Robin. Yep, and that was it. I mean, he would make a few other appearances here and there, including the recent Batman 900.
Yeah, that's
where his Joker has come back as a vampire.
Yeah. Kind of ironic that Joker was never a vampire, and he was then turned into a vampire.
Yep. But overall, though, this was not this is the weakest of the trilogy.
It is. At least there is some consistency to the continuity that was set up. And it played with the rules that were set up.
Exactly. But here, this is what's set up. Like I said, look at what happened with Batman later. He's just following the Crimson Mist version because that's when he's the most vampire-like.
Yeah, but it's almost, even then, it's almost like just in name only.
Exactly.
For appearance and in name.
Exactly.
The history is pretty much like cherry-picked aspects of it, and
And I've never seen anyone write of straight on with Batman. He just shows up and he's ready like, roar! I have not seen anyone do a proper story with him.
There was that one, probably the Swamp Thing crossover when the Convergence happened. That was
that was by far the closest. But other than that, when you see him out, he's just there as a force of nature. Even in Countdown Arena, where he's there, he beats the other vampire and Batman, which was Gotham by Gaslight and New Frontier Batman. No, not New Frontier. What was it? The JSA. It was one of the JSA Elseworlds.
Liberty Files.
Liberty Files. Yes, that one.
Yeah.
So of course he was going to win out against those two.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I said, they've handled him only as the monster. No one's ever done a proper. I mean, he's memorable, obviously, but It's like they remember him more as the monster, even though that was only in one of the books.
Yeah, and even then it was a proper story about a fall from grace, and it was a road that went to a
Just
deep
seeing him
conclusion.
deteriorate between these 3 books. And this is why it's my favorite Elseworlds, though, is the overarching story, the downfall of Batman. But again, I mean, this was one of those third parties that needed to be told to fully bring finality to everything, but it clearly did not have a lot to work with.
Yeah, even with even the supporting cast with just Gordon and Alfred seemed kind of lacking when there was basically no one else. The humans in Gotham who were the innocents, those people who Batman tried to keep himself from going after. We didn't see them pretty much at all, outside of maybe that those few victims of Ariane and that Scarecrow's victim, the Jeremiah Iron,
and the orderly.
Yeah, and the orderly and the Arkham staff.
Yeah. Other than that, though, no one really. But again, but this whole trilogy as a whole, great story overall.
Yes, I agree. That it is a great fall from grace story,
especially for Batman. That seeing him being this and seeing him as this monster is so interesting because it's still tragic how he knows how damned he is. He's known since the start of the book, and yet he can't help himself. The fact that he could be ended up being worse than Dracula ever was.
It's kind of rare in those cases when they're a monster and know that they need to be stopped because they know that they can't go on and even when I did Killing Joke and the Superman best, I pretty much had that theory that the villains in there, like they were doing, they realized that the life they had is not living, and pretty much all the evil they do is pretty much trying to justify the people opposing them to please put me out of my misery.
Exactly. But overall, though, I mean, with this, like I said before, they made the villains more monstrous to justify Batman killing them.
Yeah.
It's like, you can see why Alfred would release them, but you also see why, you're supposed to have no qualms about Batman doing it because they're just that bad. When you have even Riddler doing what he did, it's like,
Yes.
And if the only one that probably the most innocent of them was probably Ivy.
Yeah, because she wasn't.
She was still seducing, but she was killing men. She was still killing men, but it wasn't as brutal.
Yeah, maybe it was. She was maybe the lesser of the evil on the ladder of everyone who was evil.
Exactly. But I think they just put in there to have a sexy woman since they had a sexy woman in the other two.
Yeah. We had
Tanya and then Selena.
Yeah, whatever other female Batman villains they could have used if
from at that point it was that prominent. Not really anyone. There was no Harley by this point.
Yeah, or maybe. Harley was still an animated version when the story was told.
Exactly. Even when this was told, but they weren't going to just introduce her in the world, especially with Joker gone. I will say this though: the fact that Morrison had it be that there's a vampiric Justice League still intrigues me.
Yeah, how did that become a thing?
Who knows? I guess maybe it's like DC versus Vampire, only in this case it's Batman who did it. And besides, I think they do play up the vampires being more mystical in this version. So maybe in this version, they could actually do that. Now, of course, you still have to deal with his solar energy in his blood, but I guess
that solar energy thing pretty much should make Superman.
It happened in a Superman comic with Dracula. Dracula bit him, and then whoosh!
Yeah, like try to bite and you get solar firepower.
Chances are they probably weakened. He probably weakened Batman and Superman. Because even if you bring him down low enough, the solar energy probably wasn't going to affect him.
Yeah, it's pretty much like something like when I did my BVS 5-part review. When I covered the fight Superman and Batman had, I pretty much when I covered, I made this health bar to Superman so he could to show they were fighting in the rain and the solar power. It was the health bar was going down, down. All that
Exactly.
as they kept fighting, and it was probably somewhere close to probably on the red before before the spear was about to go down.
Yep. But again,
Pretty much.
Yep.
It should be on the red before the vampire thing does. But otherwise, Superman should. If Superman's powers are on the green or at the very least on the orange still before going to red, then vampires shouldn't have anything against him.
Exactly.
He needs to be weak and pretty much close to the, or maybe red kryptonite or something like human levels before the vampirism works.
Or he could have used just a bunch of blood and a needle with a kryptonite tip and just chink. That won't affect the vampire that's biting him.
Yeah, but then there's also the factor that how would sunlight affect them? Would it create a standstill that it powers him up, or it burns him down, or
who knows? But overall though, this whole trilogy, just give your final thoughts on it. I've already given mine.
Yeah, it is a pretty good self-contained story that it had a beginning, middle, and an end. A proper story. Yep. It wouldn't have needed to get any of those follow-ups. Like that follow-up with the search for Ray Palmer, that was pretty much surplus done for the sake of it.
Yep. But hey, I thought it was fitting since you've gone over the other two.
Yeah. Yeah, but even the story was pretty much better on its own. And if people wanted to explore it more, they should have just focused on the other stuff. Because when you make like that tie in with countdown, and it ends up contradicting what was originally happened, you end up wondering, okay, how did this happen? Why is this different? Can we get some other reasons for it, or is it just to be?
And why is Batman just being so much of a villain? This just goes against everything. Especially going after innocent people. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's what he was struggling against. He was thinking about how long until it goes over there.
And yet he's still in control to a degree.
Yeah, where he was interrogating that one that he had turned and kept. And he didn't even do that when in the story itself. Everyone who he beat, he killed right after.
Yeah, right, exactly. So how did this guy get away unless someone chased him up before he could do it?
Yeah, this is basically an idea or a. Okay, Batman is an IP on himself, so it should be like a what should you call it? An IP branch.
Yeah.
That was created by someone else and taken over by someone else, and decided to use it for their own purposes.
Basically, he was given a task of give us a world of the vampires that's not exactly like the Elseworld, so we can utilize it in the future.
Yes.
But again, but we're all done. I think this is just I'm glad to finally talk about all three of these. Thank you so much for joining me on this one, Pika, and I hope this helps you out with your video.
Yeah, I'll start writing on it at some point, maybe sometime this week. I just started the Sonic Adventure 2 editing, and I already also posted a quick promo video on that already. You can go watch that. But I will start writing it sometime either later this week, or sometime early next week.
Yep. As far as when this will come out, I don't know yet because I haven't had my 250th set up yet, and I won't do any new videos until that point.
Okay.
So yeah, but until then, I will let you know afterwards when I'm going to be putting up there, and you can let people know. But until then, see you guys on the next one. I'm going to give you your sign off.
Yep. May your heart be your guiding key.
Yep. Take care.